My name is Angela and all the places you can find me should be linked in the description box below this video. Welcome to day 9, I think, of the 12 cast-ons. Honestly, I've completely lost track of all time and sense of who I am, where I am, what's going on. I think it's day 9. Please forgive me if I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, I'll put it on the screen somewhere. It's a cold and wet day here in South Wales, so if you hear any ambient background noise, it's just the rain hitting the Velux windows here in the craft attic. And already I have gone off-piste for today's cast on because I grabbed the skein of yarn that I was intending to cast on with. I went to try and be organised and bring up the pattern that I intended to cast on, and while I was scrolling through my pattern library I completely got distracted by something else and have spent the last 20 minutes stash diving for a completely different project, although I am using the original skein of yarn in conjunction with other yarns. Oh dear, what am I doing to myself? So I hope this works out okay, but time will tell. Let's talk about the original skein of yarn. So if you watch my Vlogmas videos, you may have seen me unwrapping a parcel from the lovely Andy and Angela at Attic Spin Dye, and they kindly gifted me a skein of their Granny Weatherwax, which is now no longer called Granny Weatherwax yarn. Confusing, I know, but they're not allowed to name their colourways after Discworld characters anymore. So it's this absolutely glorious green colourway, and let me see, skein is a merino and silk blend, and you can tell by the beautiful shimmer in this yarn. And originally I thought I might cast on a hat for myself in this yarn, but as I was scrolling through my library I came across a pattern that I bought a little while ago, and it is called, what is it called? It's called the Sea Glass Tee, and it is a pattern by Woollen Pine, and I purchased this back in May of 2021. And the reason will become clear why I all of a sudden got distracted by this pattern is, I'm just trying to get a picture up on the screen, one of the pattern photos. There's lots of different colour combinations shown for this pattern, but this is one of the pattern photos. How stunning is that? So yeah, as I say, there's lots of different colour combinations sort of displayed in this pattern, and lots of suggestions in the pattern for how to work your colours. The pattern is designed, by the looks of it, to help you use up your yarn scraps, bits and pieces, mini skeins. So one of the other pattern pictures just has, let me show you this colour combination, which obviously is a little more everything under the kitchen sink than the greeny colourway that I just showed you. But the pattern's great. It has lots of different suggestions for you for how you might want to approach this project. So I decided, based on this glorious green, to go stash diving, and I have pulled out more yarn than I'm going to need for my stash, but I'm not sure how it's going to start sort of working when I knit the pattern up, but it's more yarn than I can hold. I've got 6 skeins here that I've pulled from my stash, including that beautiful colour from Attic Spin Dye. So let me try and hold these up a little bit better for you. So I picked out, the next one I picked out was this Yantan Tetherer yarns. I'm mentioning Yantan Tetherer a lot, which sorry about that, because as I said, she's not dyeing at the moment. This is the graffiti colourway, and as I think you can see, it's got pops of the beautiful greens in there, which go pretty well with the green in here. But it also introduces a whole plethora of other colours. There's purple, there's pink, and all of the colours in between. There's some blue, just beautiful. So that was the second skein. I thought those two together would look pretty nice. And then I just went for all of the different greens that I had. So the next one is from Little Boo Yarns, and I remember purchasing this, I'm pretty sure, at the Bristol Wool Fair, which must have been 7 or 8 years ago now, probably. The Bristol Wool Fair doesn't exist anymore. But this was one of the first indie dyed skeins that I ever purchased, and I was quite early arriving at the Bristol Wool Fair, and the lady behind this dye company was still setting up. I was immediately drawn to this beautiful skein with blue and green and purple in it, and she was still labelling up her yarns. So she asked me what my name was, and she called this yarn Angela because it didn't have a colourway name. So I don't know if it was a one of a kind or whether it was just a fun thing for her to do because she hadn't quite finished setting up. But yeah, so this has got the purple, the blue and some green in it. So it picks up some of the colours in the Yantan Tetherer, but also sort of follows on from the green theme. And then I went a little bit more down the green and purple. So I have this skein in my stash from Little French Meadow. Again, I don't think they're dyeing anymore. This is a colourway name that is related to a franchise that I don't wish to promote or support, so I'm not going to tell you the colourway name. Let's just say it's a beautiful purple and green yarn. And so that one hopped in because it reflects the purples in the other skeins, but also the green. And then I went back to sort of the greeny skeins. So I've got this beautiful skein from Curio Yarns, and again, Ellie at the moment is not dyeing, but I actually purchased 2 skeins of this for another t-shirt project, but I think I'm willing to sacrifice that t-shirt project if this ends up fitting into this project. As I say, I've got picked out more yarn than I'm going to need, so I don't know where this is going to go yet. And then the final 100 gram skein that I picked out is some Kaleidoscope yarns in the Mr. Bojangles colourway, and I have a feeling I might have won this skein on a podcast knit along back when I was first starting to get back into knitting. Either that or it was a gift. I'll have to have a proper look at around in my Ravelry stash to find out the origins, as it were. But this has greens and blues in it. The camera doesn't want to focus in this poor light. That's a little bit better, but I thought that one reflected some of the blue skeins in both the Little Boo yarns and the Yantan Tetherer. So those are the colours that I picked out from my stash full skein wise. And then I've also got this skein of nettle yarn from Onion, which I have knit a pair of socks from this. I'm using this as the base for my main colour in a sweater, not this colour, black in my sweater. I've knit a pair of orange socks in this. I was just testing this yarn out as a sort of no nylon sock yarn, and I bought a few sort of 50 gram skeins to have a play with. But I thought this might be a nice one to add into this project as well, because obviously these two here are very sort of tonally green along with this one, but the others are sort of quite mixed and matched with lots of different colours, variegation, mixed and matched. The others are very variegated, that is the knitting terminology, Angela, with a bunch of different colours in. So I didn't know if I would need, you know, something a little bit more solidly green to match in. So yeah, look at that, 6 skeins of yarn out of stash. As I say, well, 6.5. Although technically that's a full skein. 7 skeins, it's just that's a smaller one. So yeah, I'm going to cast on a sea glass tee today, not a hat. Why not? I'm going to start, the pattern is a top down, and it has a tiny little bit of ribbing at the top. So I'm going to start with my original colour, which is the Attic Spin dye, the inspiration for me going off on a tangent with this project. So I'm going to start with this and then see if I get the ribbing done, and then if I do, I will figure out what I'm going to do next. I think as this was the next colour that I was drawn to, I think if I do start the yoke, I will be sort of combining these two colours together first. I may end up splitting the skeins down and sort of mixing and matching them throughout the project. I'm not sure yet. I haven't read the pattern through. I'm just going to sort of cast on and then figure it out as I go along. Before I can get to the fun of casting on, I of course have my work day to get through and some house chores to do. So I'm not sure again how much progress I will make on this project, and perhaps it's one that I should have saved for the weekend when I've got a bit more time. But I'm excited about it. I want to get it on the needles today. Is there anything more British than sheltering out of the rain, eating a bag of chips? I don't think so. If I had a cup of tea, it would be perfect. Well, hello lovelies, welcome to my Friday. How are you doing? I'm looking a bit ridiculous today because it's freezing up here. My day is a little bit backwards today for, I don't know, reasons. Usually I get up straight away and record this sort of end to the video that will be going up today straight away so that I can get myself ready to edit and then get on with work. However, when I woke up this morning, I had work things on the brain, and I knew that if I didn't get those work things done and out of my brain, I wouldn't be able to concentrate on recording and doing my other things. So it's now almost 3 o'clock in the afternoon, which means I'm feeling a little bit behind. I like to do things in a certain order. Are you like that? And if it doesn't pan out like that, then my brain gets all befuddled. But consequently, it's freezing cold up here because this house is always cold, this room is always cold in winter and hot in the summer, and it is connected. There is some heating up here, but they're separate heaters to the rest of the house, not that we've got the heating on in the rest of the house, and it's just not worth putting them on for the short amount of time that I'm going to be up here. But this room is also the best light situation in the house for recording, so I've put my Aquamiri over the top of the sweater that I'm wearing. And I've also put my cowl on, so I'm a bit bundled up, but that's just the way it is. I have no idea whether I really got any vlog footage yesterday, because that's another reason I like to record first thing in the morning, because it's kind of fresh in my mind what I got up to yesterday. I think there might be a tiny little bit of footage of me out in the rain eating chips. Like some weird deranged seagull. And that might be it. But anyway, thankfully, you lot have been casting up a storm. Is that a thing? Casting on a storm. Casting on, I don't know what I'm saying. You know what I mean. So I've got plenty to tell you about, as well as showing you my progress on my sea glass tea. So, projects that you have been making. Mairead, our lovely Mairead, has cast on a Coastal Crop Raglan, which is a pattern by Tiff Neeland, or Neelan, I should say. And sorry, Mairead, your comment was on a video a few days ago, and for some reason I noticed yesterday on my YouTube app, which is what I use for replying to comments, that a couple of comments popped up and then disappeared. And that led me down a little rabbit hole to investigate whether there were extra comments on the YouTube videos. And it's a bit strange because there were some videos I could see on my laptop under the YouTube videos that I hadn't replied to. And then some comments that I could see on the app but I couldn't see on my laptop on YouTube. And some comments that seemed to have just disappeared into the ether. There was at least one from Mairead and one from Ellie, I think, that I saw pop up and then disappear. So if I haven't replied to you, then I'm sorry, I'm just having obviously technology issues. So yeah, there's a few here that are kind of catch-ups from videos that I'd missed. So, yes, Mairead, Coastal Crop Raglan from Tiff Neelan. And I was hoping to cast on a Tiff Neelan project as part of my 12 cast-ons, but the days are running out and I don't think I'm going to get to it. So that is a real shame, because if you haven't checked out Tiff Neelan on Instagram, she's got some amazing patterns, garments, hats, accessories, all the things. Kathy has cast on some Spice Man socks. Lottie, who is enjoying the journey Cancer is a Lifestyle here on YouTube, has started a lilac sock crochet pattern from lilac yarn. So I think the pattern's called lilac sock and she's making it in lilac yarn. I might be confused. And she's also started a purple ombre hoodie from some Red Heart yarn. Tina, who is Crafts by The Rose here on YouTube, has started a hat of her own design. Tina is also a crocheter extraordinaire. Sarah has started some socks. Nia has started a skyline wrap, which is a pattern by Curious Handmade, and she's using up a lot of her 4-ply scraps, which is amazing. I know that Nia's on a mission to try and get through stash this year. Helen is crocheting some Christmas baubles and has started a new hat after finishing 2 hats, which is amazing, and has started also a new spin, a Wensleydale and Silk blend from Cat and Sparrow. Oh, if you're a long time viewer, you know I have a huge soft spot for Wensleydale, so that spin sounds amazing. Jane has finished, no, she hasn't finished, she started, she might have finished by now, who knows, a hat for a child's hat for charity using some leftovers from her stash. Kathy is crocheting some mittens from some handspun BFL, Blueface Leicester, amazing. Our lovely Ginny has started some socks. She said after claiming furiously that she was going to be a one project girl, she started a blanket earlier on in the month. She's decided to cast on some socks for herself, which is just fabulous, Ginny. Hope you get those on and off the needles before you know it. Charlie, who is Yarn Ambassador here on YouTube, has started a Party of 5 hat, and she's using yarn that she purchased from the Yarn and Yarns D-Stash page on Instagram. So little plug for my D-Stash page. If you have followed here for a while, you know that I previously had a bricks and mortar shop, which I wasn't able to renew the lease on because the landlord sold the building. So I've moved online, but I have a whole ton, which is in our spare room, of stock that I'm no longer going to be transferring and keeping as regular stock on my website. So I'm slowly trying to de-stash all of that yarn and reclaim our spare bedroom. So if you're after yarn bargains, then please do follow the Yarn and Yarns D-Stash page and you'll find a link to that below this video. I post on there as and when I have time, and I've got a whole stack of yarn waiting for photographs to go on there, so I'm hoping to do that next week. Tina finished her first sock for her son, so as a reward she's cast on an Elizabeth sweater, which is a pattern by Georgia Farrell, and she's using some Rowan yarn that she found in a charity shop. So I think she's had that a few years, she said, so it's pretty deep stash. Ellie has started a cowl and she's designing some leaves using short rows into that cowl. So she's self-designing and she's knitting from handspun, and that's her 11th cast on. That's amazing. Angie has started her first ever sock and it's part of a test knit, so good luck with that, Angie. I hope you are converted and join the sock knitting club. Kathy D, I'm going to try and remember to distinguish between the Kathys and the Angelas. So Kathy D is joining our cast on party, so welcome to the party, Kathy. And Kathy's cast on a nutmeg gnome. She already made one of these, but it was claimed by her nephew, so she's starting another one. Kathy B has cast on a lowly, she said, washcloth because she was busy yesterday, but there's no lowly cast-ons here. They are all amazing, and a washcloth is going to be super useful, and she's using sugar and cream yarn. Kate has cast on her 12th project. Amazing, well done, Kate. Thank you for going the distance with me. And Kate's 12th project was a litmus cowl, and Kate went to a retreat and everyone at the retreat was dying. I guess maybe that was one of the classes or one of the intentions behind the retreat. And so Kate has a hand-dyed mini from other people at the retreat, which she's going to be using as part of her litmus cowl. So what a lovely project and a lovely memory of that retreat. I really love that idea. Kathy, Mountain Pearl Kathy, has started a Cornice cowl, or a Cornice cowl, and she's using a merino mohair blend, which is really cozy. I could do with some of that right now to keep me warm. The lovely Elizabeth has started a Batwing, which is a pattern by our lovely Charlie, the Yarn Ambassador, and Elizabeth is Eden Cottage yarn, which she won as a prize at the Knit Tea Retreat, one of the virtual Knit Tea Retreats last year, which is fabulous. And if you're not aware of the Knit Tea Retreat, retreats are hosted by my lovely friends Zoe of Pins and Needles UK and Jenny, Owl About Yarn. And if you Google Knit Tea Retreat, you'll find their website, and they host virtual and in-person retreats throughout the year. So if you're interested in finding out more about a lovely retreat, I've made some amazing friends through those retreats. It's such a friendly bunch. So if you want to check out the retreat details, just have a little Google of the Knit Tea Retreat. Michelle is someone that I've met through the Knit Tea Retreat, has also cast on her 12th and final project. Now, Michelle hasn't been commenting under the video. She's been posting her projects over on Instagram, and she's cast on a whole array of amazing projects: sweaters, accessories, some projects for the little ones in her life and new babies that are on the way. Thank you so much again, Michelle, for going the distance and casting on 12. The lovely Ivana, who has the Republic of Me channel here on YouTube, has started 2 projects in January. She's knitting a oversized sweater, which she said is in black drop sleeve construction, and she's hoping to maybe build in a turtleneck to that. And she's also cast on a garter stitch triangle shawl, and she's using 1 strand of silk and 1 strand of hand spun. And if you haven't watched Ivana's channel, she works with a lot of hand spun, and she self-designs a lot of her projects. She does quite a bit of weaving as well. She's an artist. Go check out the Republic of Me if you haven't already done so. Christy, welcome to the party, Christy. Christy has started a new spin, and she's using a wool silk blend for the first time, which just sounds amazing. I hope you enjoy that spin. Our lovely Terry said that she has been trying to concentrate on her whips, but has fallen down the cast on rabbit hole and has cast on a column sweater in some yarn from Midwinter Yarns, a setting sun brioche scarf or shawl, she describes it as, and it's her first brioche. She says she's made some mistakes, but it's a gift for her husband and he won't notice. And she's using some lovely posh yarns from Stash for that. She's also cast on a Caldwell vest for her husband, which is a pattern by Stephen West, which she said came out in 2010, which is just shocking to think how long ago 2010 was now, isn't it? She's using some Dererum Natura Gilead yarn, which I still haven't used. It's one on my list of yarns to try, and because I'm not buying yarn or trying not to buy yarn, I haven't tried that one yet, but I will. Judy said that she's not really one for the 12 cast-ons, which is absolutely fine. I completely agree that for a lot of people, casting on multiple whips, multiple works in progress would be a little bit overwhelming. But Judy, you don't have to cast on 12, you don't have to cast on multiples, you can just cast on one thing to join our cast on party and you will be most welcome. But Judy left a comment to say that she's also going to be making some charity projects this year, some charity knits, which she's hoping will make a tiny dent in the stash, and she'll cast on a mix of hats and scarves and socks, all sorts of things, mittens, to use up some stash. So well done for doing that, Judy. And if you want to include any of those, if you cast on in January and you want to include any of those as part of our cast on party, just leave a comment here or tag your post over on Instagram if you're an Instagram user. And then last but by no means least for today is our lovely Caroline of the Colourful Creativity podcast. Caroline has started her second and third project, which is the Rainbow Sweater by Yelly Knits, and has cast on a 3-colour cashmere cow, which I think is a Joji Locatelli pattern, and has more cast on plans if she can get to them. And if you want to watch some more cast on fun, then Caroline has some 12 cast on videos that she started over on her YouTube channel, which again is the Colourful Creativity channel. So if you want to go and follow Caroline's cast on adventures, then you can hop over to her channel to do so. Whew, that was a long list, wasn't it? Considering we're so far into the cast ons, or at least I feel like I'm so far into the cast on, we've still got plenty of time left for our cast-ons. If you want to join in, we're going until the end of January for the cast-on portion of our make-along, but considering that we're so far in, there's still so many cast-ons popping up on the channel, the comments in the channel every day, which just makes my heart sing. I love it. Okay, so confessions of a cast-on-aholic. My sea glass tea did not get very far, which, you know, it's no surprise. I've been banging on for the last couple of days about how I'm back to work and my knitting time is limited. So casting on a t-shirt or a sweater project was not going to, and especially a 4-ply one, I was not going to get much progress, was I? However, I did cast on the rib and I have done the short rows. So not bad if I do say so myself, given that it's, as I say, a 4-ply yarn. And I had a little bit more time. I could have carried on, but I decided to stop here because I've decided to maybe be a little bit sensible. I don't know. But I'll chat about that in a minute. I just wanted to say before we carry on, so this is the Attic Spin Dye, what was known as the Granny Weatherwax colourway, and it's a merino silk blend, and the yarn was so kindly gifted to me by Andy and Angela of Attic Spin Dye, and this has been one of the nicest tactile experiences of my 12 cast on so far. This yarn is so gloriously soft, it has a beautiful sheen to it, and yeah, this, even though this is just a little bit of knitting, it was just such a joy. So thank you so much once again to Andy and Angela for gifting me this glorious skein of yarn. I'm so thankful. I feel like you know, I switch my camera on and I babble on a little bit, and every now and then I get just fabulous surprise parcels in the mail, and I don't feel like I do anything to warrant or deserve it, but I'm just so grateful when someone does send me something. And yeah, okay, let's not get emotional. Okay, so yes, I'm going to show you my beautiful cast on and stop rambling. Isn't that colour glorious? And I'm not saying it's beautiful because of my knitting. My knitting's just my knitting. It's this amazing colourway. So I got to the point on this pattern where you start doing the increases. So I decided to take a pause because I'm going to start bringing in the extra colours now. The pattern does say that you can work the short rows in the extra sort of colour that makes up the sort of sea glass tea, but I decided like a little bit of this colour on the back of my neck wouldn't make a difference if there's a little chunk of this, or if it is in the colour work. And then I thought, actually, before I start that colour work, I might do a little swatch, because if you remember from the beginning of the video, and I'm sure you do, it seems like ages ago to me, but it'll just be 20 minutes or so ago for you, but I've picked out all of these lovely yarns from my stash. I wound up 2 and then got a bit bored of winding yarn. So I didn't do the other like 4 skeins or whatever it was. But I've decided that I might do a little swatch for colour and do a few rows mixing and matching the skeins that I pulled out of my stash to see how they work and what works. And then maybe my plan will be to try and work a regular changing of those yarns throughout, like almost like a striping effect throughout that project, so that hopefully it might look reasonably cohesive. You know, I've got plenty of full skeins of yarn. I've got more yarn than I need, so it might be nice if I did, you know, like a sort of stripe in, I don't know, these 2 yarns for instance. They're the first 2 in the bag, and then I drop this one and do a stripe of these 2, and so on, and start sort of swapping my yarns out in some sort of regular fashion to give the sweater a little bit of a cohesion. But I thought I might do a little separate swatch to see what colours look nice next to each other. Does that make sense? It makes sense in my head. So yeah, I could have knit for maybe another hour or so, but I decided to take pause, and I couldn't be bothered to find another pair of needles to do a swatch. So the next time I come back to this, that is what I will do. Time to wind this video up. Please keep letting me know in the comments below if you are still casting on, and I hopefully will be back again tomorrow. I've got a late start today on today's project. Haven't started that yet, but hopefully you'll see me again tomorrow for the next cast on. But until we do get to spend time together again, I hope you get to do some of the things that you enjoy. Great big woolly hugs to you all. Happy casting on.